Good morning, Astro Ponderers. I'm Tess with your weekly Metaphorcast to bring the poetry of the skies down to the actuality of daily life. This episode is for the week of Monday, August 24th through Sunday, August 30th. Virgo season has begun with its specific charm so homespun. In the evenings, you may notice an increase of space between the crickets' chirps as the temperature starts to drop. Count the number of chirps in 15 seconds and add 37. The number you will get will be an approximation of the outside temperature. The complexities of nature become astonishingly simplified by Virgo and her science. From her close-up and studious vantage point, she peers into eternity. Teilhard de Chardin describes evolution as a process that leads to an increasing complexity, and with this increase of complexity also comes an increasing of the within, a certain interiority, which forms the basis for all our knowledge, a consciousness, a spirituality, call it what you may. On Virgo's opposite end swim the fish of eternity, the place of poetry and dreams. Science measures the treasures of mystery, and the complexity finds its unity in simplified understanding. Poetry does a similar thing, but in reverse, as it takes the likeness of a moment and elevates it to what feels like a rightful divine status, from mundane to miraculous. Virgo season is ripe with moments, small little droplets of time, measurements of life itself. As novelist Cesare Pavese wrote, "We never remember days, only moments." Moments are absorbed into memory as sure as nutrients are absorbed into the body. Moments are classified by the most authentic of scientists, who are in touch with the sacred privacy of their own interiority, their own inner space, constantly expanding as an appetite for learning increases. Virgo days are comprised of complexity and simplicity. In the most modest of moments may come floods of understanding. In the most complicated of scenes may come tranquility of thought. Simple and complex, she wouldn't have it any other way. As Virgo Johann Wolfgang von Goethe said, everything is simpler than you think, and at the same time, more complex than you imagine. The science of that space between the crickets' chirps may measure the temperature, but the poetry of the space elevates the moment, as the silence caresses a busied mind. As Rumi said, "In silence there's eloquence. Stop weaving and see how the pattern improves." Mercury, the planet of mind, is strong and adaptable in its seasonal sign of Virgo. Moving into a supportive trine aspect with the great awakener Uranus, a flexible outlook may lead to a breakthrough in understanding, as you make headway with the powers of Virgo adaptability. As writer Françoise Renée de Chateaubriand wrote, "Like a kingfisher, I have made my nest on the waves." Venus moving deeper into the waters of Cancer and receiving supportive aspects from both Jupiter and Neptune. The goddess supported by sky and sea. Is there nothing that love can't do or be? Chardin saw love to be the agent of universal synthesis, and that with every increasing evolutionary complexity comes the growing unity of love and consciousness. Mars representing the only fire in the sky, burning hot in the late degrees of Aries, and making a dynamic square to Saturn. An eager will in a barroom brawl with time itself. Who will win? Maybe time will tell. Maybe will. Will ultimately comes out pretty strong over the dominion of time, as long as we hold true to the power of the moment. As Abraham Maslow said, "I can feel guilty about the past, apprehensive about the future, but only in the present can I act." Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, all in Capricorn and retrograde. Pattern, law, and transformation, all in the sign of standards. A growing human race of complexity, a growing center of compassionate unity, laws and patterns that are in need of timely transformation. Uranus and Taurus, the value of a moment. Neptune and Pisces, the growing space of within. The moon starts the week off a waxing crescent in Scorpio, the sign of magic. In the season of the maiden, this is simple magic, everyday magic, the beyond logic realm of connectedness, encircling everyone with its web homespun. Choose a thread, any thread, look at it but don't tell anyone. By Tuesday, the moon reaches its first quarter in Sagittarius, the high-flying horse of zest, the sense of unity that comes from these elevated vantage points, when patterns are perceived in full, and the busyness and noise seem so far away. Such a lifted perspective encourages optimism and a sense of unity, the upward nature of fire, and the cohesive nature of love. By Thursday afternoon, the moon continues to wax gibbous in Capricorn, the sign of time and mastery. Thomas Mann said, "Order and simplification are the first steps towards mastery of a subject." In these late days of summer, Virgo lights our sight with a snap of attentiveness. Deeply absorbed in her orderly instincts, she flows naturally towards a goal of mastery, just as water molecules form beautiful hexagons under the influence of the cold. By Saturday night, the moon goes into Aquarius, the sign of man, the water-bearer, the consciousness sharer, the awakening awarer, separating from the crowd while at the same time merging with a greater humanity, complex with originality, simple with a shared human flame, a growing interiority. As an interiority increases, so does a range of response, an expanding spontaneity, a freedom of vision. Maybe in moments we can experience shifts towards the Aquarian age as consciousness grows and unites. As Colin Wilson wrote, man does not yet exist. As always, happy Astro Pondering. For contact information and more, visit me at happyastropondering.com.